field goals. Some of those were putbacks, obviously, so that takes it out of the equation. But second half, I think 4 of the first 5 possessions, there were assists. How much better do you move the ball? Was that an emphasis? I guess
I think the challenging thing is in the first half is, especially in transition or, with Joshua or with Taman, is at times in space, they can kind of overpower their guy, push through contact, and go score a basket. And so part of our offense in that first half is we want to get into the paint, and those guys have the ability. I think they each had 6 baskets at the rim or right near the rim in that first half, driving it. So to your point, we certainly want ball movement. We want everybody involved. We want everybody feeling good. And I think teams make decisions defensively at times that you feel like there's something you can take advantage of. And both of those guys are, they're great finishers, are playing at a high level. So I think that factored into it as well. Certainly we tried to be more conscious of that, coming out in the second half. But I think our guys have a really good mindset and desire to share the ball. Obviously, we saw that in the second half.
And for both of them to have the wide-ranging success, the 23-9-7, 23-6-4, it's not just the points for those guys, but the versatility they give you in all 3 major stats. How special was that?
Yeah, no, they do a great job. I mean, the rebounding is a huge area of emphasis for our team. I mean, making sure that we continue to do that. And then, again, all those areas producing. I think, Taman and Joshua are both playing at an extremely high level. And, their production is far greater than even what we see in their numbers.
For Taman with the scoring, is it as simple as a role change with no Key and Curtis, or is there more to it than that?
Well, I think, first of all, he's healthy, right? And so for him last year, he's a contact-seeking player. But when your shoulders popped out and your fingers broken and, your legs, there's just a lot going on, right? And so I think for him to be the best offensive player, he needs to have burst and speed and space, which we see. He needs to use his power on smaller guards to be able to drive it through contact and get the ball to the rim. So I think the first component is Taman's healthy. The second thing is that, we need this Taman on this year's team. We need him to be a guy that hunts scoring opportunities. We need him to be a guy that continues to get into the paint and get to the rim. And I mean, he continues to take care of the ball at an unbelievable rate as well, with another 4 assists without a turnover. So I think part of it's him healthy, part of it's by design, and then certainly there's the part of that what our team needs from him this year.
What can you say about Jay Jeff's efficiency, not only tonight but through 4 games?
No, he's terrific. He's doing a great job, attacking matchups, putting pressure on the rim, getting to the foul line. He's finishing with great confidence. He's all over the glass. So really pleased with what he's done through these first 4 games. And again, we know what he's capable of, and we know that there's even a step ahead for him that he can continue to grow his game and develop through the season.
Hey TJ, one thing that you were talking about with Taman was this year's team, you need him to be able to go score. How much does that say about him and his evolution as a player, thinking back to when he was a freshman to where he is now, and how you can ask him to do different things as his game has improved?
Yeah, I mean, that freshman year, he had so much on his plate in terms of being able to run our team as a true freshman. So that was challenging. Every possession on both sides and commanding the game, and he did a great job. His sophomore year, he took a huge step forward from there, shot the ball with great confidence, led our team throughout the course of the season, played at a first-team all-conference level in the Big 12. And like I said, last year, being banged up, just most guys wouldn't have played with 1 of those injuries or 2 of those injuries or 3 of those injuries. Taman played with all of them and just laid it out there for the team. So it's great that he has the versatility, the skills, the talent, and ability to do so many things. And right now with this group, him putting pressure on the rim opens things up for other guys. And so it's been great to see us continue to do that.
How much of a degree of unselfishness does it take for someone to have all the different roles that he's been tasked with handling for your program over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, he's as great of a teammate as there could be. He loves Iowa State. He loves this program. He practices with everything he has every single day. He leaves it on the floor. He cares about his teammates. He cares about winning. So it's really a testament to his family and his character, his upbringing, his parents, who he is as a man, and how he continues to elevate his own standard through the work that he does every day. There's nobody that has better intent to do those things than Taman Lipsey.
TJ, what type of work did Joshua put in during the offseason that has allowed him to take the leaps in scoring efficiency and decision making that we've seen so far this season?
You know, the first thing is his body, his diet, his nutrition, getting in great shape so he can play longer stretches, heavier minutes. He deserves all the credit in the world for the work that he's put in. He looks great, he's moving great, and that's a testament to his work there. In terms of, you know, his playmaking and decision making, obviously tonight was 7 assists and just 1 turnover. He's a very high IQ player. He's someone that takes pride in getting guys shots and making plays for his teammates, and he continues to do that. And then to have the motor that he's demonstrated on the glass consistently to produce from a rebounding standpoint, again, a lot of it goes back to the conditioning in his body, but then there's the mental conditioning and the focus. So, you know, Joshua has really elevated himself by the work that he's put in this offseason. He continues to do the work every day. And like I said, I know, you know, his best is still yet to come.
One more on Taman, Coach. I mean, he picks up the knee injury right before this season. What does it say about him that the offense is coming so quickly?
Well, his mental toughness is so high. And then when you look at when he was out, you could just sense how much he wanted to be out there, how much he realized being out, how quick this all goes, and how much you can't take a single day for granted. And not to say he's not always urgent, because he is, but I think he really had a place of gratitude and thankfulness for the opportunity as he was sitting out watching, saying, I'm not going to let one day pass by. And then when you see the work that he did in the training room with Vic Miller, our trainer, and Pete Link, our strength coach, to get back so that when he came back, he was ready to perform. It wasn't easing back into anything. It was performing immediately, and he's done a terrific job of that. And again, it's a lot of people on our staff that work with him, but ultimately Taman deserves all the credit for the work he does every day.
With this being the final tune-up ahead of the Players Era Festival, what were maybe some areas of the team you wanted to see, like tonight, going into that, and anything in particular you kind of challenge those guys on?
Well, there's certain standards that, you know, we hold in very high regard. We want to play well in a lot of aspects, but the first one is that our ball pressure generates turnovers. I think we had 7 at the first media, 11 by the second media. I would have liked to sustain that more for 40 minutes, but that's something that's going to be important no matter who we play. That's a standard we need to set, and speeding people up and turning them over regardless of opponent. That's something we're going to continue to lean into. We put a lot of emphasis on our transition defense to get back and not allow people to score in transition. You know, they had 2 points on fast breaks tonight. We've been really good in that category. And then limiting teams to 1 shot. You know, I think all those things defensively, when they're all added together, we play well offensively. Our best offense is off our defense, in transition, after a rebound or after a turnover. And so we realized that in order to perform as we go into this next tournament, you know, at the highest level, all those things have to be on display. There's standards that we take pride in upholding. We respect all of our opponents, and we know that every night out our opponent is, you know, they're going to give it everything they have to win, but we have to uphold those standards. And then offensively, we want paint points. We want to score at the rim. We want to get to the foul line, and then take the threes that present themselves. And our guys have done a good job understanding that, implementing that, and now it's going to continue to get more challenging as the competition elevates. And again, I still think it's more about what we do in practice tomorrow, what we do the next day, how we continue to do that, because you want to keep getting better. It's mid-November, long season ahead. The job is to keep getting better every day.
And before you go back in and look at the tape, the 10 3-pointers for Stonehill, were those, in your judgment, like good looks for them, or just some things that you want to improve on in that?
Yeah, I think first there was some unnecessary help, specifically off number 10. Early on when he got going, we got to be more mentally dialed in so that we have an awareness to other teams' great shooters to not give them clean looks. I would say that first and foremost. You know, they play frontline guys that can step out and shoot threes. So our aggressiveness defensively and turning people over and trying to have 2 to the basketball, sometimes that can give that frontline player an open 3. We're not as worried about that one. We're more worried about making sure the ball doesn't hit the paint for them and then taking away their primary guys. So I think it's both. I think some of the looks were good looks that we've got to do a better job being intentional to not help off or over help off people. And then some looks we're going to take within the realm of how we play defense and say, as long as it's not getting in the paint and we're getting there to late contest, those are shots that we're willing to live with. So I think it's understanding both of those two and being a little bit more intentional.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys.